Hello and welcome to my video on turning a rusty old shed into an Italian thoroughbred race car. In the last episode we brought the car home to finish in dominant style at Croft, helped by the pouring rain, taking the first overall win of the season for the car and me. In this episode we take the car to Festival Italia at Brands Hatch and take on the best from Italy and England in an all-comers fun race to celebrate all things Italian.
Il bel sole.
After winning the oval race in the pouring rain at Croft, we had little to do to the car in order to have it ready for the weekend. It seemed odd not having some last minute drama, which meant complete gearbox overhaul or some other major job to do until 1 AM. We spent the Friday before the circuit trying to get new setup changes to help the understeer on turn-in, and went about setting some competitive times getting dialed in for race day. We did 45 laps on the day and ended up with times in the low 55-second range. With only 15 minutes available, qualifying was fast and frenetic. The challenge is to get a good lap in time when the track is clear and not get into any petty races if somebody's in your way. Much better to drop back, cool down the tyres and try again the next lap with a nice gap. In the end we did 10 competitive laps with 3 clustered around 55.6 seconds. We went faster on the Friday, but that's the way things are sometimes. The Lancia qualified a reasonable P11, and the only car ahead of us which was not on slick tyres was a Lotus Europa with a 54.6, just out of reach. It's worth pointing out why drivers drone on and on and on about tyres all the time. It's hard to explain the importance that tyres make to a lap time, and as a result it dominates the technique, setup, lap time and overall performance of the car. The Lancia races with semi-slick tyres which are just road legal, namely the Nankang AR1s. The next step from these are full racing slicks, and the grip from changing from the AR1s to full slick tyres could be as much as 3 seconds on a short track as Brands. With all that performance there's also a cost. It costs considerably more in terms of the initial outlay, but also increased wear and tear on a car's drivetrain. In hindsight we should have turned up with a set of slicks. We would have been much further up the field, but you live and learn. Sit back, relax and enjoy race 1, a 15-minute sprint with a rolling start. Before I got a chance to see the lights, everyone had bolted. I was quite tentative on the start, as the last thing anybody wanted to do was come together given the value of all the machines around us. The car felt good, and not long into the race the Mini Miglia, also on slick tyres of Paul Simmons, and I started swapping places. Sadly down the back straight the drive belt on the engine failed. We lost the power steering, the alternator and more importantly the water pump. We had a belt fail back at Snetterton during the first shakedown, so we carried 2 spare, but it still meant we retired from race 1.
And then
After watching the awesome F1 demo cars in the assembly area, we were gridded up for the second race. Race 2 grid was based on the finishing position from race 1, which meant I was stone dead last with nothing to lose. Watch out for some flying Ferraris on the first lap. Things get quite sticky at one point. I make it a reasonable start, and this time I saw the lights go out. The first few corners I am much more aggressive, keen to make up places at the start, and by the third corner I'd made up 7 places. The blisteringly fast blue Ferrari 430 challenge car of Nicky Paul Barron swapped ends going around Graham Hill Bend, and the pack had to take avoiding action. The red Ferrari 430 of John Cohen took to the grass and managed also to swap ends whilst rejoining the track, but this time in the middle of the road. Brake or drive around? I went with the latter, doing some rallycross, and lived for another lap. That could have been quite an expensive shunt. I quickly caught and passed the Lotus Exige and the Mini Miglia, and was for a few laps the leading non-slick car when 5th overall. After being passed by the spinning Ferraris recovering back from the front, I then had a great battle with the red Mini. You can see from the rearview mirror in the Lancia the braking and turning performance of the Mini was far superior, but given the small engine it was no match on the straights. I believe we would have been swapping places all race long, but sadly on lap 9 the rear right drive shaft failed and we had to retire the car once again.
Singing songs and drinking wine.
I suppose in some way it was fitting that the Lancia should go so well, but have reliability let it down? Given the brand's history in the UK, there was no way without slicks we could have competed with the Ferrari 360s and 430s, and it was a shame the spectators didn't see more of the Mini and Delta swapping positions all race long. We have some time before our next race in September to work out why we had the 2 failures and put in place changes to make sure it doesn't repeat itself. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like the video, comment below and subscribe to the channel for more updates.
La, la.